The sea begins with a whisper, soft and endless, carrying secrets older than time itself. Waves rise and fall, weaving stories in a language only the heart can truly understand. Beyond the horizon, where sunlight dances on silver waters, a realm of mystery begins. It is here, between calm and storm, that the eternal king of the sea keeps his silent watch. His name is Poseidon, ruler not by force, but by presence older than the stars above. The ocean is his throne, boundless and shifting, shaped by his breath and eternal rhythm. Listen closely, for the sea speaks, and within its song lies the echo of his timeless reign. Coral gardens bloom like palaces, while currents move as endless corridors beneath the deep. Creatures of wonder swim in his domain, guided gently by the unseen hand of their king. Every tide that touches the shore carries his spirit, calm yet powerful, steady yet free. No crown of gold rests upon his brow, for the sea itself is his crown, vast and eternal. This story is not of battles or conquest, but of guardianship, balance, and eternal wonder. Tonight, we journey into the deep to hear the legend of the sea eternal king, Poseidon. The sea begins with a breath, soft as a sigh, rolling across the surface like a gentle hand. Each wave carries a memory, ancient and unbroken, echoing through the vast blue expanse. When you listen closely, you hear not noise, but voices, whispers rising from the deep. They are stories carved into water, older than mountains, older than the drifting stars. This is the language of the ocean, spoken without words, felt without sound. And within this chorus of tides, one voice stands apart, steady and eternal. It is the voice of Poseidon, the keeper of the endless sea. He does not shout, he does not roar. His presence is felt like the pull of the tide. Every shore knows him, every current carries him, and every sailor has heard his name. For Poseidon is not simply a king. He is the sea itself, its soul, its endless breath. The waves move with his rhythm, rising and falling like the beat of his eternal heart. In the calm of dawn, his whisper is peace, a song of silver light across still waters. In the storm, his whisper grows into thunder, reminding the world of the sea's power. Yet even then, it is not anger, but balance, the truth of nature expressed through waves. The sea cannot be owned, cannot be conquered, for it belongs to the eternal king. And so it has been since the first waters filled the earth, since life was born from the deep. He has no palace of marble, no throne of stone. His kingdom has no walls, no borders. Instead, the ocean itself is his hall, vast and boundless, adorned with coral and light. Fish shimmer like jewels across his floor, and whales sing hymns through his vaulted ceilings. Every ripple of current is a passage, every tide a doorway, every shore a memory. The sea is not empty, but alive, a great body breathing beneath the sun and moon, and Poseidon is its breath, its pulse, the unseen ruler who guides without chains. To mortals, the sea is vast and fearful, yet it is also a place of wonder and beauty. The laughter of dolphins, the drifting of turtles, the dance of silver shoals. These are his gifts. Even storms, though feared, carry meaning, for renewal comes when old is washed away. The rain that falls from his storms feeds rivers, and the rivers return to him in time. Everything flows back to the sea and through it to Poseidon's eternal watch. He does not demand worship, yet sailors call upon his name in quiet reverence. A whispered prayer, a coin cast into the waves, a promise made beneath the stars. For they know the sea is more than water. It is life itself, and Poseidon is its keeper. At night, when the world sleeps, The ocean still breathes, steady and endless. The waves curl in the dark, silvered by moonlight, carrying secrets across the world. The whisper of waves is not just sound, but story, one told for as long as time remembers. And so, whenever you stand by the shore and feel the wind upon your face, listen closely. For within the hush of the sea, within its unbroken rhythm, his voice is always there. It tells of beginnings, of journeys, of the eternal bond between water and life. It is a voice that has never faded, never broken, never silenced by the ages. It is the voice of Poseidon, the eternal king of the sea. Before time was measured, before the first dawn rose, the sea was already breathing in silence. The waters stretched endless and nameless, holding the promise of worlds yet to be formed. From this vast cradle of creation came a spirit, born not of land, but of shifting tides. That spirit grew into strength, into wisdom, into presence unbroken by the march of ages. He was not crowned, for no crown could bind him. Yet the ocean itself bowed to his being. This was Poseidon, not made in halls of stone, but in the swirling depths of primeval seas. He rose as the voice of the deep, the pulse of an endless kingdom without limit or wall. His birth was not marked by cries of war, but by the first great stirrings of living water. Where currents twined, where salt and sun met, there he first walked among the waves. The sea accepted him, not as master, but as guardian, a keeper of its unbroken flow. In his gaze, the waves found rhythm. In his step, the tides discovered their eternal dance. He grew with the waters, and the waters grew with him, inseparable as breath and life. The stars above looked down and saw their reflection ripple in his ocean throne. The moon cast her silver light, and with Poseidon, she began the dance of tides. The sun painted his halls with gold, turning his waters into rivers of fire by dawn. Thus the heavens themselves shaped harmony with the sea, and Poseidon stood between. He was not a king of conquest, but a son of balance, born to hold the fragile rhythm. Each wave that touched the shore carried the quiet story of his eternal beginning. Mortals would one day tell myths, weaving his name into song and prayer. But long before, he was simply the ocean's child, listening to the hum of deep waters. The first dolphins swam beside him, companions of joy in his endless blue halls. Whales, vast as mountains, lifted their voices, echoing his presence across eternity. Even the smallest fish shimmered like sparks of life, drawn to the quiet gravity of their king. He walked not upon earth, but through currents, each step a ripple through all existence. From the stillest pool to the raging storm, he was present, unchanging yet ever-flowing. He learned the speech of rivers, the sigh of rain, the hymn of waterfalls in hidden caves. And in return, the waters gave him memory, the history of all that had been. For water forgets nothing. Every drop holds the echo of ages past. Poseidon became the keeper of those echoes, the eternal witness of the world's first stories. When mortals first touched the sea, they felt him in the spray, in the pull of the tide. Their hearts trembled not with fear, but with awe, as if meeting a force both kind and vast. And so they named him king, though he wore no crown, and bowed to him with reverence. Not from command, but from the undeniable truth that the sea was his and he was the sea. From that day forward, every wave was both water and word, carrying his name forever. His birth was not an end, but a beginning. For from Poseidon flowed guardianship. He was destined not to own, but to watch, not to bind, but to guide with endless patience. The ocean would swell and shift, but Poseidon would remain, constant as the moon's glow. In every dawn, in every storm, in every whisper of tide, his origin is retold. And when you stand by the shore, know that beneath the rolling waves lies his story. The story of a king not born to rule, but born to be eternal with the sea. The sea has many voices, but one symbol has carried its meaning across ages and shores. This is the trident, the staff of Poseidon, not forged in fire, but born of the deep waters. It is not a weapon of war, but a key of harmony, holding the rhythm of the ocean's heart. 3 prongs rise like paths of balance, each pointing to a truth of the eternal sea. The first is calm, the stillness of dawn waters, where silence teaches peace to every soul. The second is strength, the rolling tide that moves mountains of sand without a single cry. The third is renewal, the endless return of waves, reminding the world that nothing ends. Together, they form the balance of life, the circle of giving and taking, ebb and flow. When Poseidon holds the trident, he does not raise it to strike, but to steady the waters. Its touch calms storms, its presence guides currents, its glow carries the light of eternity. Legends say the trident can part seas or call waves, but its true power lies in balance. It is the breath of the ocean made visible, the eternal reminder of Poseidon's guardianship. Fishermen once spoke of seeing it shimmer beneath moonlit waves, like silver fire. Sailors dreamed of its shadow carved against the horizon at dusk, guiding them home. Children of coastal villages whispered stories of Poseidon lifting it above the tides. They believed it was not to threaten, but to bless, a sign of protection across waters. The trident was not his possession, but his bond, a covenant with the living sea. Every ripple carries its echo, every tide carries its promise, every storm carries its lesson. Those who truly listen to the sea can feel the trident's rhythm in their heartbeat. It is the call of balance, steady and timeless, a harmony that binds water to life. The trident speaks of calm, for without peace, the sea would know only chaos and despair. It speaks of strength, for without power, the sea could not shape lands or carry life. It speaks of renewal, for without return, there could be no beginning, only silence. Poseidon holds this truth in his hand, not as lord, but as guardian of a sacred trust. The sea chose him, and through the trident, the bond was sealed for eternity. Its light has no flame, its sound has no thunder, yet its presence cannot be denied. It is seen in the tide's pull, in the rising of waves, in the calm after the storm's breath. The trident is a story told not with words, but with the eternal language of water. Generations have come and gone, yet the sea repeats this tale with each breaking wave. Some say Poseidon rests his trident in coral gardens, hidden from mortal eyes. Others believe it drifts in the deepest trenches, glowing like a star in endless night. But all agree its power is not to conquer, but to connect, to bind all waters as one. The trident is not only his symbol, but the heart of the ocean itself. Wherever waves touch land, the promise of the trident lives within the foam. Wherever storms gather, its balance hums beneath the roar of wind and thunder. And when the sea returns to calm, its silence speaks louder than any sound. For in stillness, one can hear Poseidon, holding the trident, steadying the world. He does not lift it in pride, but in service, to keep the eternal cycle unbroken. The sea bows to him, and through the trident, he bows to the sea in return. Thus, the bond is whole, eternal, and unshaken by time's endless march. The trident of Poseidon is not a weapon, but a song, the hymn of the eternal sea. The kingdom of Poseidon is unlike any realm built by hands, for it has no borders and no walls. It stretches as far as the horizon, deeper than the eyes of mortals can ever hope to see. Its floor is the ocean bed, shifting sands and mountains hidden beneath silent waves. Its ceiling is the restless surface, touched by moonlight, kissed by sun, crowned with stars. No marbled towers rise from this place. No gates stand guard, no soldiers march in ranks. Instead, coral gardens bloom in endless color, brighter than jewels in any human crown. Anemones sway like banners in a current, and reefs glow like lanterns beneath the dark. Fishes weave through arches of stone, darting like dancers in a festival of endless motion. Here the palace of Poseidon grows not from stone, but from living, breathing water. Each current is a hallway, winding and shifting, guiding all who swim through its depths. Each cavern is a chamber, where whales sing hymns and dolphins leap in playful praise. The sea itself is the throne, ever moving, yet eternal, carrying the presence of its king. In the silence of the deep, this kingdom feels boundless, sacred, and endlessly alive. Its treasures are not gold or silver, but the gleam of fish scales and the glow of coral fire. Pearls rest within oysters like secrets, waiting for the right moment to be discovered. Sunken ships sleep as forgotten guests, draped in seaweed, adorned with time's quiet touch. Yet nothing within this kingdom is wasted, for the sea transforms all it embraces. What sinks becomes shelter. What breaks becomes part of a reef. What is lost becomes song. The walls of this realm are tides, ever changing, yet always returning to the same shore. The gates are waves, opening and closing with rhythm set by moon and wind. The guards are creatures of the deep, not with spears, but with their eternal presence. Turtles drift like ancient keepers of wisdom, slow and steady in their quiet watch. Sharks circle with strength, fierce yet balanced, keeping the cycle of life unbroken. Tiny seahorses cling to seagrass, fragile yet eternal in their stillness. Every life within this vast realm is part of its harmony, part of Poseidon's song. He does not sit above his subjects, for he walks among them in the shifting currents. His kingdom is not one of power over, but of unity with, a balance born of endless trust. Mortals who gaze upon the sea see only the surface, but beneath lies his great hall. It is endless, vast, echoing with stories that flow from one tide to the next. Legends say even the stars envy his palace, mirrored across the calm sea at night. When the waves grow still, the surface reflects the heavens as if the gods look down. And when storms rage, the kingdom roars, alive with the power of wind and wave. Yet always, after fury, calm returns, for Poseidon's hall is never broken, only renewed. It is a kingdom where silence is never empty, where motion is never chaos, but song. Every drop of water carries memory, every tide carries promise, every wave carries time. No mortal crown could match this glory, for it is not bound by gold or stone. The sea is both cradle and grave, both giver and taker, and Poseidon is its keeper. His kingdom cannot be measured by maps, for it flows where rivers meet and rains fall. It is in the streams that feed the sea, in the mists that rise to clouds, in the rain that returns. The palace of Poseidon is the world's great circle, forever moving, forever whole. Those who step into the ocean step into his realm, though they may not know his name. For every ripple touches his kingdom, and every heart touched by the sea hears his song. Thus the kingdom of Poseidon stands eternal, vast without walls, and boundless without end. The sea is never still, for its breath is bound to the rhythm of tides, rising and falling without end. This dance is eternal, a cycle older than memory, guided by forces unseen yet always felt. Poseidon, as guardian of the deep, holds the secret of this rhythm within his timeless heart. Each tide is not chance, but harmony, a dialogue between earth, moon, and the sea itself. The moon lifts the waters, drawing them close as if whispering to her silent companion. The sea answers, swelling in devotion, bending its vast body to the call of lunar light. And Poseidon stands between, the conductor of this endless duet across sky and ocean. When the tide rises, he breathes deeply, filling the world with the promise of renewal. When the tide falls, he exhales, letting the waters retreat to rest before their return. Thus, the sea is alive, not restless but rhythmic, a heartbeat that touches every shore. Fishermen know this truth, for their lives follow the pull of waters and the gift of tides. Children play at the edges of retreating waves, chasing the ocean only to be chased back. Villages watch the shore, marking time not by clocks, but by the slow turn of waters. The dance of tides is not only physical, but spiritual, a lesson hidden in plain sight. It teaches patience, for all things come and go, only to return in their time. It teaches humility, for even land must bow to the gentle rise of the sea. It teaches trust, for the ocean never fails to return, no matter how far it seems to go. Poseidon's hand is gentle here, not in storms, but in rhythm, steady and unwavering. He does not command the tides as a master, but guides them as a keeper of balance. The sea listens to him, and he listens to the sea, a bond unbroken by time or distance. In quiet coves, the rising tide brings life, feeding pools where small creatures thrive. In estuaries, it carries the salt that nourishes, blending river and ocean into one. In open waters, the tides move great currents, weaving the breath of the planet itself. The dance is vast, yet every drop of water moves as if part of a single graceful step. Legends tell of sailors lost at sea who found their way by following the tide's return. They say Poseidon guided them home, not with stars, but with a steady pull of water. Poets sang of the tides as a lover's embrace, leaving only to return with deeper devotion. Mystics called it the voice of eternity, a reminder that nothing is ever truly lost. For every retreat is a preparation for return, every silence a waiting song yet to be sung. The dance of tides is the ocean's promise, eternal and unbroken, born of balance. Without it, the sea would be chaos, restless and wild, without rhythm or meaning. With it, the sea becomes a living song, each rise and fall a verse in its eternal hymn. Poseidon, holding this rhythm, carries the wisdom of patience and renewal. He knows that even the strongest wave must fall, yet it rises again with greater power. He knows that even the stillest shore will one day feel the return of the tide's touch. And so he lets the dance continue, never hurried, never delayed, perfect in its measure. Mortals who listen to the sea's pulse may hear their own lives reflected in its rhythm. For we too rise and fall, we too retreat and return, guided by forces unseen. The tides remind us that endings are only beginnings in disguise. They whisper that loss is not forever, for all things return in a new form. This is the eternal dance, the gift of Poseidon, the lesson of the sea. So when you stand at the water's edge and watch the waves retreat, wait. When they return, you will hear his voice in their song, steady, patient, and eternal. Beneath the waves lies a silence that is not empty, but filled with ancient memory. The deep sea holds secrets older than cities, older even than mountains above. Within this vast stillness, creatures drift like shadows across a dreamless night. Here Poseidon walks with quiet steps, his trident leaving no mark in the waters. This realm is not for mortals, for no light from the sun reaches its distant floor. Yet it is alive, glowing with the whispers of beings shaped by time and darkness. Lanternfish spark their tiny fires, carrying stars into the endless black. Jellyfish drift like spirits, their bodies glowing softly, pulsing in slow rhythm. Giant squids stretch arms across the void, unseen guardians of these depths. Whales pass through, their songs echoing across miles, a chorus of eternal voices. Every sound here is magnified, carrying across the ocean like a sacred hymn. Poseidon listens, and in their songs, he hears the memory of the world itself. The whales sing of migrations, of journeys across seasons, of births and farewells. The currents hum with the story of rivers, carrying the breath of faraway lands. Even the rocks on the ocean floor hold history, shaped by fire, cooled by ages. This silence is not absence, but fullness, a stillness rich with hidden life. Poseidon keeps this silence sacred, for within it lies the wisdom of patience. Mortals often fear the deep, for they cannot see nor grasp its vastness. But for Poseidon, it is home, a temple without walls, a sanctuary eternal. Here no crown gleams, no throne rises, only the endless embrace of the deep. The stillness teaches him that power is not noise, but balance, not force, but presence. Even the smallest ripple can change the path of the greatest wave in time. So he does not shout his will, but guides with currents, invisible yet unbroken. When storms rage above, the deep remains steady, unmoved by fury or flame. Reminds him that all chaos is temporary, and peace is the heart of the sea. In this depth, Poseidon gathers strength, not from conquest, but from harmony. The silence allows him to listen, not only to the sea, but to himself. It is here he remembers that he is both ruler and servant of the ocean. For the sea does not belong to him, but he belongs to the sea, eternal and vast. Mortals who dive deep, even with fear, feel a piece of this truth in their hearts. Their voices fall silent, their thoughts slow, their hearts listen to the ocean's song. Some say they return changed, carrying in their eyes the weight of that stillness. They speak of a presence, unseen but near, as though Poseidon walked beside them. Legends tell that those who respect the silence may glimpse his shadow in the dark. Not to frighten, but to remind them they are guests in a world greater than themselves. The deep sea is a mirror of eternity, stretching without end, yet never empty. It is both womb and grave, both beginning and return, carrying all within its embrace. Poseidon honors it, for in silence he finds the truth of his eternal reign. Not through thunder, not through storms, but through the stillness that never fades. Thus the deep teaches all who listen, though few dare to hear its full song. It whispers that strength is quiet, that patience is power, that eternity is peace. And so the eternal king guards the silence of the deep, where time itself bows. His kingdom here is unseen, but its presence is felt in every ripple, every tide. For the silence of the deep is not emptiness. It is the voice of Poseidon himself. There are places in the ocean where light dances in colors no mortal painter could ever capture. These are the coral gardens, realms of brilliance, alive with hues that glow like woven rainbows. Here, the sea blooms as if it were spring made eternal, each reef a living tapestry of wonder. Poseidon walks gently through these halls, for every coral branch is a fragile treasure. The gardens are not his to claim, but his to protect, a gift of life for all who dwell within. Tiny fish move like brushstrokes, darting gold and silver across the coral canvas. Anemones sway in slow rhythm, their soft arms waving like lanterns in unseen winds. Starfish cling patiently to stone, marking time in silence with their steady presence. Sea turtles glide gracefully, their shells carrying patterns of ancient design. Even the smallest shrimp contributes to this harmony, cleaning, feeding, keeping balance. The coral itself breathes, living stone that grows, breaks, and heals with patience. It is a forest beneath waves, yet brighter than any woodland touched by sun. Poseidon watches over it, for he knows this beauty is fragile and easily undone. Mortals who glimpse these gardens are left speechless, changed by the vision forever. They return to land speaking of colors that glow even in dreams, impossible to forget. Legends, say the gods, themselves envy these reefs, jealous of their eternal bloom. For no jewel forged in fire could shine brighter than a coral flower kissed by water. The gardens are sanctuaries, nurseries of life, where countless creatures find refuge. Here the weak are sheltered, here the young grow, here balance is renewed each day. The song of the gardens is not loud but layered, a chorus of countless small voices. Clicking crabs, whispering fish, the gentle hum of currents moving through coral walls. Together, they weave a music that rises through the sea, subtle but eternal. Poseidon listens, and he smiles, for here he hears the purest harmony of his realm. Unlike storms that roar or depths that brood, the gardens sing of joy and abundance. They remind him that power is not only vast and endless, but also delicate and bright. Every garden is a reminder that beauty thrives in care, not conquest. The Eternal King does not rule by force here, but by gentleness, unseen but ever near. He bends currents to carry nourishment, guiding waters to feed the coral's heart. He calms waves to keep balance, ensuring that life may continue its patient song. Mortals, when they dive here, often feel as if they step into another world entirely. They describe it as a temple of light, glowing columns and stained glass of the sea. Some say they feel Poseidon's blessing, a warmth in the cool embrace of the water. Not fear, not awe alone, but peace, as if welcomed into his garden by unseen hands. Legends tell of sailors rescued by turtles that led them through reefs to safety. Others tell of dolphins guiding ships away from danger, gifts of the reef's protector. The coral gardens are not only beauty, but guardians, keepers of balance in the sea. If they thrive, the ocean thrives. If they falter, the kingdom weakens in silence. Poseidon knows this, and so his heart rests here often, among the blossoms of the deep. For even a king must sometimes find joy, and in these gardens, joy blooms eternal. Every color tells a story, every shimmer holds memory, every reef is alive with spirit. And when the light of the sun passes through clear water, the gardens glow as stars, as if the heavens themselves fell into the sea, scattering jewels across the sand. Thus, in the coral gardens, Poseidon keeps not only life, but beauty alive forever. Here beneath the waves, his kingdom sings not of power, but of wonder unending. The ocean is not endless silence, for it carries a voice that rises above the waves. It is the voice of song, carried by creatures who make the sea a place of music. No cathedral on land could hold such choirs, for their stage is the boundless deep. Whales are the first to sing, their voices rolling low like thunder softened into melody. Their songs stretch across oceans, traveling farther than any mortal sound could go. They sing of journeys, of births, of meetings in waters warm and ancient. Each note is a memory, each rhythm a tale, woven into the fabric of the sea. Dolphins answer with laughter, bright and playful, weaving joy into the harmony. They leap from waves, as if notes escaping a page, their bodies shimmering in sunlight. Seals join with calls that echo like flutes, echoing across rocky shores and cliffs. Even the smallest fish join, clicking and chirping, adding texture to the symphony. The ocean floor joins in silence, its vibrations carrying tones only the deep can hear. Coral gardens hum softly, their living walls resonating with the sea's subtle rhythm. Together, it is a chorus unlike any other, the eternal music of Poseidon's realm. He does not silence them, nor command, but listens as guardian of their song. For he knows that music is life itself, flowing as freely as the water it rides upon. The sea's song changes with time as seasons move and tides shift their rhythm. In summer, the notes are bright and playful, carried by dolphins at play. In winter, the tones are deeper, slower, as whales sing of journeys long and vast. Storms add their own drums, thunder rolling across waves with power and might. The wind whistles above, joining as breath to the voices below. Even rain adds its own notes, tapping upon the sea as countless tiny drums. Poseidon listens, and in the music, he hears the heart of his kingdom. It tells him when balance is strong and when sorrow lingers in hidden depths. He hears joy in the laughter of dolphins, grief in the cries of whales left alone. And he answers not with words, but with presence, guiding tides to comfort the song. Mortals, too, have heard this music, though few understand its meaning. Sailors at sea often spoke of voices in the night, echoing from the waves. They called it the language of gods, believing Poseidon sang to guide or warn them. Poets described it as the breath of the world, a hymn sung by creation itself. Even now, divers speak of feeling vibrations that touch their hearts like whispers. They cannot always hear the song, but they feel it, deep and unshakable. Legends tell of mortals who followed the music and found safety in storms. Others say the song led them to treasure not of gold, but of peace and wonder. The song of the sea is not always joy, but it is always truth, carried in pure form. It reminds all who hear it that life is many voices, rising together in harmony. No single note is enough, but joined, they create something eternal. Poseidon treasures this song, for it is the heartbeat of his endless realm. He tends the sea as a conductor tends his orchestra, gentle yet ever present, not forcing, not commanding, but guiding currents to keep balance alive. The ocean sings because it lives, and it lives because he guards its song. And so the eternal king listens each day, finding wisdom in its flowing music. For the sea's song is not just melody, it is memory, promise, and truth. It tells of the past, it holds the present, it calls forth the future yet unseen. And in every note, the voice of Poseidon lingers, eternal, calm, and unbroken. Beneath the rolling waves lies a world of ruins, silent witnesses to ages long forgotten. These are the sunken cities, places where once the land kissed the sea but later surrendered. Their walls now rest in quiet twilight, embraced by corals, guarded by the endless tide. Legends say some were mortal cities, swallowed by storms that Poseidon could not prevent. Others whisper they were raised by gods, only to sink when pride grew heavier than stone. Columns lie broken, arches half buried in sand, yet beauty lingers in every fallen stone. Fish weave through shattered windows, while seagrass sways where once mortals walked. Statues stare with blank eyes, their faces softened by centuries of salt and shadow. Yet in their silence, they tell stories, echoing memories of life laughter, and loss. Poseidon does not rebuild them, for he knows the sea has claimed them as her own. Instead, he lets them breathe again as gardens for fish, shelters for creatures of the deep. Mortals who dive upon these ruins often feel awe greater than any temple on land. They speak of standing amid stone streets where only silence answers their steps. They feel both wonder and sorrow, as if hearing whispers that linger in the water. Some return changed, carrying respect for the ocean's power and patience. For the ruins remind them that nothing built by mortal hands can last forever. Yet they also remind that endings are beginnings, for life grows where stone once stood. Corals crown the fallen walls, turning stone into color, shadow into light. Octopuses dwell in forgotten halls, guardians of chambers filled with drifting sand. Schools of fish shimmer through archways, their movement like ghostly parades of memory. The ruins are not graves, but transformations, places where time bends into eternity. Poseidon walks there at times, silent, listening to what lingers between the stones. He does not mourn, for he knows the sea does not take, it only changes. What was a city of men becomes a city of the sea, renewed, reborn, reimagined. The eternal king carries no bitterness toward these losses, only acceptance. For he has seen empires rise and fall, kingdoms vanish, yet the sea endures always. Mortals sometimes call these ruins curses, but Poseidon knows they are lessons. They teach humility, the truth that the sea cannot be owned or mastered. They show beauty in impermanence, the quiet grace of surrender to time. Legends tell of treasures hidden deep within, gold and jewels beyond imagining. Yet the true treasure is the silence, the peace that lingers beneath the waves. For no wealth compares to the sight of sunlight piercing through broken domes, or the sound of whales echoing between ancient walls now filled with coral bloom. The ruins sing too, though their song is hushed, a memory humming through stone. It is a hymn of change, of what was and what has become, sung without end. Poseidon values this song, for it reminds him of his own eternal journey. He too has changed, has shifted with time, yet remained, like the sea itself. The ruins are his mirrors, silent and steadfast, ever blending past with present. Mortals who honor them with respect find peace in their presence, as he does. Those who seek only treasure leave empty-handed, their greed unnoticed by the sea. For the ruins hold nothing for the hand that takes, only gifts for the heart that listens. And so they rest, not lost, but alive in a new form, cradled by the eternal ocean. Beneath the waves, the sunken cities stand as proof that nothing truly vanishes. All changes, all transforms. And in the sea, every ending flows into forever. Far beneath the reach of sunlight lies the kingdom of shadows, where the deep holds its secrets. This is the abyss, a realm where silence is thick and pressure shapes life in strange forms. Few mortals have seen it, yet its mysteries shape the ocean as surely as the waves above. Here, light is rare, but not absent, for creatures carry lanterns within their very bodies. Glowing fish drift like stars across black skies, creating constellations no mortal charts. Jellyfish pulse with gentle radiance, their bodies like stained glass alive in darkness. Some beings glow in colors unseen on land, painting the abyss with secret hues. The deep is not empty, but filled with wonder, though veiled in patience and stillness. Poseidon walks here rarely, but when he does, even the shadows bow to his presence. For the abyss knows him not as ruler alone, but as guardian of balance eternal. Here live giants of the deep, creatures older than empires, silent and unseen. Their movements are slow, their lifespans vast, their wisdom carried in silence. Legends tell of beings so large they seem mountains drifting in darkness. Mortals once called them monsters, but Poseidon knows they are keepers of the abyss. Their eyes glow faintly, reflecting memories of ages when the world was young. They are not beasts of rage, but ancient custodians, shaping silence into harmony. Among them move smaller creatures, glowing trails weaving like forgotten constellations. The abyss is a library of time, each creature a book written in patience. Mortals fear it for its darkness, yet the deep holds knowledge beyond imagination. Poseidon listens to its silence as one listens to a teacher, patient and humble. For the abyss teaches that even in shadow, life thrives and beauty blooms, not with brightness, but with persistence, quiet sparks in an eternal night. Mortals who dream of the deep often feel it calling, though they do not understand. Some imagine it as terror, but others sense its calm, a peace without end. Diving too far, few return, for the abyss is not a place for mortal flesh. Yet those who survive speak of lights moving like spirits, guiding them home. They describe visions of vast shapes, drifting too immense for the human eye. These stories became myths of leviathans, guardians, and gods beneath the sea. But Poseidon knows the truth. The abyss is not chaos, but quiet balance. It is the heart of stillness, where the ocean holds its deepest strength. Even storms above cannot touch this place, for its calm is unbroken, eternal. Here time seems slower, days blending into centuries, moments into ages. The abyss has seen stars born and die, yet it remains unchanged, steadfast. And Poseidon, eternal himself, finds kinship in its patience and silence. He does not seek to command here, for this realm governs itself. Instead, he honors it, bowing to the wisdom of shadows and lights. For he knows that even kings must listen, even gods must learn. The abyss whispers truths too vast for words, truths carried in silence. It speaks of resilience, of beauty that blooms where none expect it. It tells of balance, how even in darkness, life finds a way to shine. Mortals may never fully know this place, yet they sense its mystery. Stories of sea giants, glowing spirits, and hidden cities rise from this truth. They are not lies, but echoes of what the abyss has shown to the bold. And Poseidon allows these legends, for they remind mortals of wonder. For in fearing the abyss, they also respect it, honoring its unseen power. The eternal king guards this realm not as ruler, but as keeper of harmony. For he knows the abyss is not empty, but the quiet soul of the sea. Here, where silence reigns, the ocean holds its deepest truth forever. Far beneath the reach of sunlight lies the kingdom of shadows, where the deep holds its secrets. This is the abyss, a realm where silence is thick and pressure shapes life in strange forms. Few mortals have seen it, yet its mysteries shape the ocean as surely as the waves above. Here, light is rare, but not absent, for creatures carry lanterns within their very bodies. Glowing fish drift like stars across black skies, creating constellations no mortal charts. Jellyfish pulse with gentle radiance, their bodies like stained glass, alive in darkness. Some beings glow in colors unseen on land, painting the abyss with secret hues. The deep is not empty, but filled with wonder, though veiled in patience and stillness. Poseidon walks here rarely, but when he does, even the shadows bow to his presence. For the abyss knows him not as ruler alone, but as guardian of balance eternal. Here live giants of the deep, creatures older than empires, silent and unseen. Their movements are slow, their lifespans vast, their wisdom carried in silence. Legends tell of beings so large they seem mountains drifting in darkness. Mortals once called them monsters, but Poseidon knows they are keepers of the abyss. Their eyes glow faintly, reflecting memories of ages when the world was young. They are not beasts of rage, but ancient custodians, shaping silence into harmony. Among them move smaller creatures, glowing trails weaving like forgotten constellations. The abyss is a library of time, each creature a book written in patience. Mortals fear it for its darkness, yet the deep holds knowledge beyond imagination. Poseidon listens to its silence as one listens to a teacher, patient and humble. For the abyss teaches that even in shadow, life thrives and beauty blooms. Not with brightness, but with persistence, quiet sparks in an eternal night. Mortals who dream of the deep often feel it calling, though they do not understand. Some imagine it as terror, but others sense its calm, a peace without end. Diving too far, few return, for the abyss is not a place for mortal flesh. Yet those who survive speak of lights moving like spirits, guiding them home. They describe visions of vast shapes drifting, too immense for the human eye. These stories became myths of leviathans, guardians, and gods beneath the sea. But Poseidon knows the truth. The abyss is not chaos, but quiet balance. It is the heart of stillness, where the ocean holds its deepest strength. Even storms above cannot touch this place, for its calm is unbroken, eternal. Here, time seems slower, days blending into centuries, moments into ages. The abyss has seen stars born and die, yet it remains unchanged, steadfast. And Poseidon, eternal himself, finds kinship in its patience and silence. He does not seek to command here, for this realm governs itself. Instead, he honors it, bowing to the wisdom of shadows and lights. For he knows that even kings must listen, even gods must learn. The abyss whispers truths too vast for words, truths carried in silence. It speaks of resilience, of beauty that blooms where none expected. It tells of balance, how even in darkness, life finds a way to shine. Mortals may never fully know this place, yet they sense its mystery. Stories of sea giants, glowing spirits, and hidden cities rise from this truth. They are not lies, but echoes of what the abyss has shown to the bold. And Poseidon allows these legends, for they remind mortals of wonder. For in fearing the abyss, they also respect it, honoring its unseen power. The Eternal King guards this realm not as ruler, but as keeper of harmony. For he knows the abyss is not empty, but the quiet soul of the sea. Here, where silence reigns, the ocean holds its deepest truth forever.